Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Onyinye here, and today I'll be teaching you how I made this halter neck notch collar jacket. If this is your vibe or if this is something you're interested in, kindly stick around and let's get right into this video. So the first thing we'll be doing is to draft our pattern. Now on our pattern paper, make sure you leave 5 to 6 inches on the top of the paper, and on the side, which is the center front where the button is going to be, leave about 5 to 6 inches as well. So I've gone ahead to label my chest line, my bust line, my waistline, and finally my hemline or my hip line. Okay, so for this jacket, we're going to be using our back neckline. Okay, we're just going to put both our front neckline and our back neckline in drafting this pattern. You're going to see why in this video. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches, and I divided that by 2, which is 4 inches, and I'm going to put that on my bust line, my waistline, and my hip line, and I'm going to connect it with a straight line. Next is to get our dart measurements. For the darts, I'm going to be using 1.5 inches, which is 0.75 on both sides, and I'm just going to connect all that. Now on the bust line, I just came down by 1 inch. Okay, from the bust line there, just come down by 1 inch, and that's where your dart is going to start from. So from that point, connect your darts just the way I'm doing it. And I'm also going to repeat the same thing on my hemline. I'm going to take 1.5 inches on both sides of the dart, and I'm just going to connect that. Now the next thing we're going to do is to replace the dart we took out on the waistline and the hip line. Okay, so my round hip measurement is 44 inches. We're going to divide that by 4, put that down on your hip line, and then add 1.5 inches, which is our dart intake. Replace it on the hip line, and I'm going to do the same thing on the waistline. Now take your round waist measurement divided by 4, and then add the 1.5 inches dart intake we took. Now on the chest line or your bust line, you're going to take your round bust measurement divided by 4, and you're just going to put that on your chest line. I did the same on the bust line as well, and I'm just going to connect all these points together. The next is the hemline. We're going to be working on that, and on the hemline, I'm just going to come up by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to connect that to the dart leg. I'm doing this to eliminate the sharp edge on the side. So do that and connect that to your dart leg just like I'm doing. The next thing we're going to do here is to determine our break point on the center front line. Now your break point is basically where you want your button to start, how exposed you want your chest to be. I want my break point on my bust line, which is about 11 inches, and I'm just going to put that down. And from my break point right there, I'm just going to come out by 1 inch. This 1 inch is going to serve as our button allowance. So I'm going to take that 1 inch all the way to the hemline, and I'm just going to connect all these points with a straight line. So the next thing we're going to do is to connect with a straight line from our neckline to the break point, just like you see me do. So from your neckline right there, connect it all the way with a straight line to your break point. And after doing this, we're just going to take the round neckline for the back. Remember I told you earlier that we have to put in our back neckline measurement on this front pattern. This is where we're going to be using it. So I measured that and I got about 3.75 inches, and I'm just going to put that on the top, just the way I'm doing it, okay? With a slant, I'm just going to put down 3.75 and I'm just going to connect that with a straight line. And that line over there is going to serve as our collar extension. Now from that same line, you're going to come out by 1/2 inch. This 1/2 inch is just going to make your collar sit properly on your neck. So come out by 1/2 inch and then connect it back to your neckline. So the next thing we're going to do is to get the width of my collar. Now, depending on your preference, I want my collar to be about 4 inches of width. You can do 3 inches and you can do what you want, but I'm just using 4 inches. This is what I like using, and I'm just going to connect that with a straight line. Just watch what I'm doing, okay? Yes, so the next thing we're going to do is to come out by 2.5 inches from your front neckline, your original front neckline, okay? Come out by 2.5 inches and you're going to connect that from that point with a straight line. Yes, and from that point, you're just going to connect with a slant line all the way to your break point. So the next thing we're going to do is to get the midpoint of the 2.5 inches we came out from the neckline. So I got the midpoint, which is 1.25, and from that same line, you're just going to go up by 1/2 inch. And from that point, you're going to connect with a straight line to the midpoint. Before connecting, make sure it's the same 1.25 on that point. I'm just cross-checking to be sure that it is the same measurement, and I'm just going to connect that with a straight line. Now the next thing we're going to do is connect from our collar to the notch, just the way you see me doing, with a curved roll. You can use your armhole curve, please, not a straight line, okay? So after doing this, we just got our collar, and the next thing we're going to focus on is the armhole. Now with your armhole curve, slightly curve your armhole curve into your chest line and just connect. So after doing that, we're going to get the midpoint of our shoulder line. Now on that line, I have 5 inches and the midpoint is 2.5 inches, which is half of it. So I'm just going to connect that to the bust line. Now the next thing we're going to do is to eliminate any gaping on the armhole. So from the armhole, from that point, I'm going to be taking a dart of 1 inch, which is 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'm just going to connect that using my armhole curve, not with a straight line. So after doing that, you can see that the dart lengths are not equal. So we're just going to make up for that on the other side. So the difference is about midpoint of half an inch. I'm just going to rule a straight line across, and I'm going to extend the dart. So whatever difference it is there, which is about half inch, I'm going to connect. I'm just going to put it. Will form down our new armhole. Just watch what I'm doing. You understand that better. So at this point, we have our front block, and I'm just going to be shading out the unwanted parts, and I'm going to cut it out. So quick one before I forget, this bottom parts, I don't want it that way. I don't want to leave it this way. So I'm just going to go up by 3 inches, and from that point I'm going to come in by 3 inches as well, and I'm going to connect that with a straight line. So just watch the illustration so you understand what I did there. 3 inches on this side. So I'm just going to connect that with a straight line. Okay, so So this is what we have for our front block after cutting it. I'm just going to proceed to drafting the back block. Now for the back block, this is very simple. All you have to do is put down your chest line, your waistline, and your hemline, and you're going to connect all those points. So the next thing we're going to do is to get our nipple to nipple, which is 4 inches. We're going to put that down, and we're going to take our dart. So for the dart, we're just going to do the same thing we did on the front. Our dart measurement is 1.5 inches, so 0.75 on both sides, and we're going to connect those points. And from your chest line, come down by 1 inch and connect those points together. So now the next thing we're going to do is to get our hip circumference divided by 4. We're going to put that down, do the same thing on your chest line and your waistline. And then after doing all of that, we're just going to replace our dart intake of 1.5 inches, and we're going to connect all those points. So now the next step is to come down from your chest line on the center back by 1.5 inches, and you're going to connect that to the side back. Now we're going to tighten the back with 1 inch. You can use 1.5 inch, which is 0.75 on both sides, just to eliminate any gaping at the back, because it's going to be a halter neck, so we don't want our back too loose. So I'm just going to put down 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'm going to connect that. That would be our chest tightening on the back. So after doing all of this, we're just going to cut it out and label each piece. So I forgot to shape in the side back, so I'm just going to go up by 1.5 inches on the side, and I'm just going to connect that to our dart leg, just the way we did it for the front. And that's it for the pattern drafting. Now in the next video, I'll be showing you guys how to sew this piece step by step. So be sure to watch out for part 2. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And please turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the part 2 of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.